Hello, my name is George. I'm a Truck Driver Nation. This content here is not based on the freight dispatch course. This is the steps after the freight dispatch course. So once you get done attending our freight dispatch course, and whether you decide to become an independent freight dispatcher and not work with us at all, that's completely fine. The course that we provide gives you all the detail and the background and everything you need to have to understand how to function as an independent freight dispatch service, dealing with owner operators or carriers, which are carriers, but we're talking about carriers like big trucking companies where you want to work for them. This right here is for those people that, we go through in detail. Obviously, if you become a freight dispatcher, you get your owner operators and you show us that you can actually function as a profitable owner operator. We give you a very unique opportunity to actually partner your business with our business as a freight dispatcher. Okay. What we actually want you to do is quit dispatching and actually manage other freight dispatchers. Now, in this presentation, it's going to have a calculator. And what we're going to do is going to go through it and I'm going to explain to it how you actually end up managing freight dispatchers that are actually outsourced from the Philippines, that they have anywhere from 5 to 12 years experience. They speak the native language. They've already been exposed to logistics in the United States, loading other carriers' equipment and trucks, obviously making them profitable. And for whatever reason, because there's a multitude of reasons that they no longer work with particular carriers, but they're obviously looking to work with people in the United States still, and that's what we do. We actually provide that avenue through whether you're already an experienced freight dispatcher, and we're doing this so you didn't even have to attend the course, or you're actually one of our students that actually got involved in freight dispatching. You trained with us. Now you've got your own trucks, and we use your TMS to kind of get an evaluation of how skilled you are in the data routine of being a freight dispatcher. So anyways, what you're seeing here in the background is our website. So when you go to the website, I want to give you instructions on how to find the calculator so you can actually spend some time with it and see what the actual profitability can be for you, so you'll understand what this even has to do with. And so let's go from there. So start with the website. What you want to do is go to career options. Once you go to career options, it'll open up and literally just go straight to the bottom. Once you get to the bottom, that's where we put this at. So it'll be so you can easily find, okay? Um, that being said, it's going to be the one that says the Direct Partnership Advantage Truck Dispatch and Profit Calculator and Earnings Roadmap. So in here, I'm going to do one and explain it to you what we normally see when we're actually setting up an experience or a new freight dispatcher that I have mentored. We're constantly mentoring you, constantly educating you, getting you to understand you no longer have to work for somebody, because the whole thing that we're giving you is set up under your business. We literally provide you with all the back end access help to get everything that you need. You're managing it with our help. We don't get in the middle of it, but as you need the assistance or need answers and stuff like that, that's what we're absolutely there for, because we make you successful. You're making us successful because we're all making money. That's what this is about, anyways. So let's take a look at it. So this is going to be the business variables. When you're looking at the business variables, the first thing it's going to say, number one, number of dispatchers. Now, normally 5 to 7 dispatchers is normally what I see most people that we're setting them up with. That's normally what they're able to handle. So I'm going to actually go with 5 dispatchers. Now, when you're going with 5 dispatchers, that means this is 5 dispatchers and they're going to be handling X number of trucks per dispatcher. And when it comes to the management of how to manage dispatchers that are handling 7 to 12 trucks or even more sometimes, but normally it's around 7 to 10 is normally what we see that the freight dispatchers are handling on a day-to-day basis without getting burned out. So that being said, we will actually show you how to go and manage the freight dispatchers so it doesn't burn you out. So we're not trying to set you up for something where you're being, you're just working, keeping these people going, keeping the owner operators in check to make sure that their profitability is there. But it's the overall aspect, work smarter, not harder, that we're actually helping you out with to understand. So there's not a big learning curve, because like us, the first thing up front We give everybody one chance at this. Okay. You're coming to me. You're telling me you're dedicated. You're telling me you're ready. And we do have the final say so on whether we're actually going to work with you. That being said, let's move forward. Now, the number of dispatchers that you're actually going to have, that's the trucks per dispatcher. That's going to be the number of trucks that you're putting with each dispatcher. So normally I just go with 7. All of these are the bottom numbers. Bottom. Okay. That means this is the least that we want to see you do, because if you can't handle this, then obviously you're not going to be a good fit for us to elevate to this level after you've already become a freight dispatcher through us. Now, the gross per truck, what I use is step decks. For step decks, because you got dry van reefer, flatbed step decks, because that's what we teach in the course, that normally what we want to see you do is hopefully get toward the flatbed and step deck side. So that being said, on the very bottom side, we know that it has to be a minimum of $8,500 per truck per week. If you cannot get it to where they're making $8,500 per week, that owner operator is going to leave you, because let's not candy ass about it. They're going to leave you because you cannot give them what they need. And even if they're under a contract with you, that contract doesn't stick in the aspect, oh, you have to be dedicated to us in the platform that we have. They can walk away at any given point. But the next thing we're going to look at is the dispatch commission rate. That's the actual amount that we charge for dispatching, providing a dispatch service to the owner operators. Normally, what I charge is 8 or 10%. 8% for more than one truck, 10% if you only have one truck. Now, coming to all the variables in that, that's in another subject, but we're going to just stick to the basics on this. So dispatching rate, I'm going to go and let's just put, because normally this is what I see, is 10%. As you can see, as you make these variables, they start adding up, okay? This is going to be your netly share of what you're actually going to make. We're talking about per month, okay? So we're talking about a lot of money, because you have to understand this is a lot of trucks. But you're letting the freight dispatcher handle it, and you're managing them, okay? You're not going to be, I don't know how to put it. You don't send your soldiers out there and you're the captain and you're out there. Yes, you're leading, but if your captain gets shot, now you've lost leadership. Okay. You're the leader. You have to stand back and evaluate things. And I will show you how to actually lead people. But that being said, we're going to put it at 10%. The next thing is going to bring it down some, because now we're looking at monthly cost. Okay. The monthly cost is going to actually be what we're actually paying for each of the dispatcher's salary. So for each of these guys, we normally pay between $500 and $1,200 per each freight dispatcher. 800 is a good dispatcher, but a 1,200, they know it all. They just can't work because they don't have a social security number. That's the whole point why we actually network with our students and stuff, because I have access to I'm in the Philippines. I have access to all these people. So like I tell people, you better use me now while the getting's good, because when I end up coming back to the United States, I don't know what it's going to look like. But right now, I have access to all these call centers and stuff. I can literally go down there, hang out in the cafe, and just meet person after person after person. I set a sign up. They all talk to me. Do you want to work for a U.S.-based company? Talk to me now. Hand out business cards. They have short conversations or whatever, because they're still at work. That's how this even comes about. But that being said, what we're doing is looking at the dispatcher's fixed income. So right now we're going to do $850, because if you averaged everybody out from what we've seen, that's about what we're paying per each freight dispatcher. So that being said, if you come back up here, it brought it down, and it'll break it all down. As you see down the side, we'll go through it. It'll break it down and deduct this $850 per each freight dispatcher. So the next thing we're going to do is the monthly overhead cost. This is going to be your phone, your TMS, all that good stuff. This is going to be a variable. It's based on what you're willing to pay subscriptions for and which ones you're not. So I'm going to just put 2,000. That's even normally what I see, and I'm maxed out. So this is on the high end, okay? If you're seeing over this, you need to talk to me, because we will be partners at this point, and I need to figure out what you're hurting on, what we can easily design and build ourselves, so that you don't have that. Obviously, when you start, I give you all the tools, but some people have a tendency, like I said, I'm not going to manage you every step of the way. I'm going to tell you how I would like to see it done, just like if you were buying a franchise, right? So you got the ability to have all that access to all that software and stuff like that. This is going to be the same thing with this. But being said, if you screwed around and you got a bunch of different stuff, about $2,000, you shouldn't see more than that. Now, the partnership split, that's the amount that we're splitting between us, Truck Driver Nation, and you. You're running the game. We're supplying you with everything. It is going to be a commitment to it. Like I said, if you fail, we can recover our freight dispatchers and all that good stuff. In addition to, we hopefully can recover the owner operators. But most of the time, when the owner operator leaves because you failed to stay on top of your owner operator, I mean, your freight dispatchers, and we don't usually see a lot of people fail, but we have had people fail, and their reasoning was all kinds of stuff. I don't want to get into it, but that being said, it's just that they didn't have the commitment, and there's no other reason. The money's there, and they were making good money. I think the money sometimes messed with their head. You know, people think money means go spend it because most people love paycheck to paycheck. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being straightforward. And it sounds brash, but it is what it is. But anyways, the partnership, normally what we take is we take 50% because we're literally giving you everything. So we go all the way to 50%. That's the most that we'll see. If you have some variables in here that actually add profit to what you're contributing, then we do negotiate down. But for the all just coming in, you've not no experience. We got you through the freight dispatching course because you paid for that course because we're not going to do everything for free. Once you got through that course, once you get to where you're actually freight dispatching, from there on up, we give you everything for free because we have a partnership with you. So that being said, that's what that's going to look like. When, just a general one. Now, yes, we can come down to 35% or 40%, depending on what you're bringing to the table. So right here, this is the lowest that we want to expect to see. So the key metrics, full revenue split, okay? The total trucks that you're looking at managing, the way we just set it up, is going to be 35 trucks right here. Let me get me a marker here because I don't want people to get confused here. Give me a second. Okay, so right here is the 35 trucks. Now the total fleet gross revenue is, now we're talking about the whole thing, okay? This is the whole batch, right? Is going to be 1,119,000. Now, obviously, you're going to understand these numbers get a lot bigger. I mean, some people do this in a day, okay? Easy, like really easy. Don't think this is beyond you. If you feel like, let me stop right now. If you feel like this is beyond you, please get the fuck out of here because I don't need people that don't believe in themselves, okay? I know that's a brash. You didn't expect to hear that coming, but I have had people that just don't believe in themselves. I don't know what to tell you about yourself. You need to reanalyze it. If you're looking at yourself in that way in the mirror, what made somebody else better than you? Okay. Yeah, some of us went to college. Yeah, some of us got degrees, but that doesn't mean that you don't deserve an opportunity. Like I said, one shot. If you don't listen to me and you don't follow this, anybody can do this. Okay. The reason I'm giving you the control is because I believe in people. Not that I believe everybody's going to actually do right and make it. You know, we definitely see our share of failures, but you can never say that you didn't have an ample opportunity to make something out of yourself. Okay. But anyways, so 1,190,000, whatever. That's about what you're actually going to see for the month. And then, so basically the overall is going to be at 10%, 119,000. So that being said, carriers take from truckers. This is right here is going to be really the carrier's gross take. That's the Truck Driver Nation. So that's going to be what they're actually seeing pulled from all these other points that are in here. So that's minus expenses and all that stuff. Now you have to remember that the percentage comes off the gross. All this money does not come to us. This goes to the trucking companies or the carriers, the MC numbers that we represent, and then we actually invoice all those. That's a whole nother thing. This is just a quick breakdown calculate, right? So there's moving parts here you're not seeing. We invoice them, whether it's direct pay or an actual invoice billing cycle, that's what we actually get sent to us from them. So we don't actually put our hands on this money. Nobody does. It goes to them. It's their trucks, their MC, and they pay us. Now, there are some variable things in here that we'll get into later that you'll see that they can actually, truck drivers or owner operators can screw you over a little bit, and you just have to cut them loose. You can't take it personal, and you're not going to want to go to court to sue them for it because you got to have a thing like $5,000 or $6,000 even to go to small claims. You're not going to get it. And what's it worth? Spending your time? Hey, you owe me money. Don't be an idiot. Let that go and concentrate on the steak. Forget the peas and the carrots. But that being said, coming down here, total dispatcher cost, because we only did it at 5, it was $4,250. That was our overhead cost of our labor. Our monthly overhead cost outside of our labor, because labor is usually your biggest cost, is the $2,000 in overhead that we have for all the other expenditures. Yes, the $4,250 is overhead as well, but that's what it turns out to be. So basically, you got about $6,250 in complete debt that you have to pay every month. So after everything's said and done, the split that we would actually split with you, if you decide to partner with us, you would get $56,375 in this given scenario, which this ain't good. Okay, they're a lot better than this, but you got to build. And to get to this point now, after you've proven that you're an actual freight dispatcher, it'll take us 6 months to a year to get you to this point. But most people don't even make this in a year. Okay, you're making this in a month. So if it takes us 6 months to a year, don't cry about it. Just stay in focus, stay in step. You know, there's nothing I know that you can do to actually get to this level in such a short period of time. But it does take day-to-day obligations. You're not going to work 7 days a week. None of us work 7 days a week. You're the only person that works 7 days a week is the truck driver themselves. And it's a horrible situation. I drove for 24 years. Just, you decide you want to talk about that, let me know. But anyways, that covers that. So that's what you're looking at making at by doing 5 trucks, 7 freight dispatchers. 5 freight dispatchers doing 7 trucks apiece, which is the very bottom. Okay. There's no reason that you can only do 5 dispatchers, and there really ain't no reason that those dispatchers can only handle 7 trucks, because they can handle a lot more than that. But anyways, coming on down, the cumulative value. So basically, it's actually more than this. I just don't really want to tell you, because we use anything that we use to get you going. We actually use it as a tax write-off. Okay. So it's really nobody's business with this part of it. Some stuff stays confidential in the house, but I can promise you it's way over $50,000. Hell, just in the contracts that we give you that you're going to use inside the organization, which if you're already a student, you know is already over $50,000 because you're already exposed to it by being one of the students. Now you can come down here and it breaks it down to the variable costs in a very gross way, not micro. We're not going to give you an itemized statement, because the opportunity that we're giving you is to come in, no money down. You're making, $50,000 or $60,000 plus a month. And, once you learn this, if you decide you want to go your own way, yes, we do have a settlement agreement as well that you can buy it out and go do your own and make all the money. So we don't just let it go. We're not fools. We're actually business people. But that being said, that's the opportunity that we're giving you. It's either a take it or leave it situation, because we're putting a lot out on the line for most people, and they don't have nothing to bring to the table. It's up for their skill set. They just happen to be good at it, and that's what we're looking for. We didn't ask for nothing else. We didn't ask for no investments or anything to that degree. We're asking for your qualities, your personal business and work ethic qualities. That's what attracts us. But like I said, we get it to you. We help you get it together. It falls apart. That's the only opportunity that you're going to get with this. But anyways, like it says at the bottom, as far as the partnership disclaimer, understand we reserve the final authority to approve or decline any partnership application, regardless of training completion. Okay. This is necessary to protect the high standards, shared interests, and the integrity of our existing team and our network. In other words, it's here to protect Truck Driver Nation. So I hope that helps you understand, the opportunity that you're getting with what's going on here. And, but that's pretty much, well, let me kill this little marker on the side. You don't see it, but I do. But that's being said, that's what this is. So I'm going to try to include this video into this application that I just showed you. If it doesn't, you obviously pick this up at Truck Driver Nation. So if you're in the Truck Driver Nation YouTube channel, be sure to go to truckdrivernation.com, go to career options, go all the way to the bottom, and that's where you'll find the content that actually goes to this video. But anyways, I appreciate everybody's time. I hope this interests you and gives you the upstart, the get up and go to understand this is a true opportunity. I'm not looking for everybody in the world. I'm looking for those few people that come along that beat these qualities, that show that they have the integrity and the work ethic and morals to actually stand their ground, do what they say they're going to do. Even though they're in contract, we don't want to go to court with nobody. It's just too much bull crap. There's enough aches and pains in life itself. So before you step off into this, ask us every single question that you think is feasible to help you make this decision post becoming a freight dispatcher. But anyways, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Everybody have a blessed day, and we look forward to working with you.